Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am Ishrat Nazmi, Business Development Manager and Senior Procurement Counselors for the Connecticut APEX Accelerator, and I'll be your host for today's session. Today's training is brought to you by the Connecticut APEX Accelerator in collaboration with the Small Business Development Center, or SBDC. Welcome to today's training, preparing for the 2026 Connecticut Supplier Connections Director Supplier Summit and MatchMaker. That's a mouthful. Before we begin, I want to highlight a few housekeeping notes. Please use the Q&A box to submit your questions at any time, and we'll answer your questions at the end of the presentations. A copy of today's slide will be sent to all attendees after the sessions. The material presented today is unclassified and is being recorded. Without further ado, let's begin today's program. The Connecticut APEX Accelerator is funded through a cooperative agreement with the Department of War and the State of Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development, or DECD. Our host agency is Southeastern Connecticut Enterprise Region, or sector. The Connecticut APEX Accelerator offers expert support in understanding, managing the complexities of government contracting. And our service includes one-on-one counseling, training, workshops like the one you are attending today, bid match assistance, guidance on government contracting opportunities, capability statements, which is really, really important for attending MatchMaker and networking sessions. We're providing all of these services and many, many more at no cost. We're here to help you position your business for the success. And here's a detailed list of more of our services. We offer services with all of the SBA certifications, state certifications, Department of Defense Mentor Project Program, and the SBA's Mentor Project Program. We offer services to help access systems like PI and WAFA. Overall, and one of the very important service that we offer is cybersecurity, or CMMC, Cybersecurity Maturity Model Assistance. So this is just a list of many, many more services that the Connecticut APEX Accelerator offers. And we work in the government contracting space, and without the assistance of a strategic partner like the SBDC, we cannot be successful. So these are some of our strategic partners. Connecticut APEX has several offices throughout the state of Connecticut, which includes East Hartford, Rocky Hill, Milford, Bridgeport, and our headquarters in Groton, Connecticut. We encourage you to stay connected with the Connecticut APEX by following our social media pages, including LinkedIn and Facebook. You can also visit the ctapex.org to register for no-cost government contracting assistance and access our learning library. And today we will learn about the Direct Supplier Summit and MatchMaker. We'll learn about the registration and profile setup process, navigating the MatchMaker platform, requesting meeting with buyers, preparing an effective supplier profile, and tips for maximizing MatchMaker opportunities. In general, we'll talk about the logistics and expectations. Stephen Semaya is the Associate State Director for the Connecticut Small Business Development Center, or SBDC, where he started as a business advisor in April of 2020. Stephen also served as the Managing Director for the Connecticut Supplier Connection. All of Stephen's work is focused on helping small business, startups, and entrepreneurs to grow efficiently, effectively, and sustainably. He has helped to lead and organize the Connecticut Supplier Connection Annual Growth Summit and the Direct Supplier Summit and MatchMaker for the past 6 years. Let's welcome our featured presenter, Stephen Semaya.
Ishrat, thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you to everyone at Apex for co-hosting this and for bringing this workshop to everybody in advance of the Direct Supplier Summit that's coming up. We can move on to the next slide. Just in brief, I'll let you know that Connecticut Supplier Connection is a program of the state of Connecticut's Department of Economic and Community Development. We have a number of partners that I'll mention a little bit later, but chief among them really is APEX Accelerator and America's SBDC, who are the two, I think, lead assistance providers to help you with various aspects of preparing to and also following up on contracting, whether that's with the government or other large buying organizations. I'll tell you a little bit about Connecticut Supplier Connection on the next slide or two. Connecticut Supplier Connection started as an initiative started by an act of the legislature in the state of Connecticut in 2016. So we're in our 10th year. I guess technically we're in our 11th year. We have 10 years in. The program's mission is to connect small and diverse suppliers with Connecticut's larger procurement groups. We facilitate buyer-supplier communities, supplier development, business matchmaking, and training events. The primary things that we do really are the twice-a-year business matchmakers, and we start those off with a keynote session that always brings some valuable information, some good speakers to you as well. The technology platform, which is really the database where we collect contact information for you, has a lot of different ways that it can be used. Supplier.io, and I'll show you in another slide or two, where you can go to join that if you're not already part of it. But you can put a very detailed profile in Supplier.io. And that's also quite simply how I will get the list of anyone who signs up anew and add you to the list where we'll let you know about these events that we're having, like the business matchmakers. Importantly, Supplier Connection is a free resource to both buyers and suppliers. There's no cost to join. There's no cost for our events either, thanks to the funding by the state of Connecticut. We can advance to the next slide. Why participate? As I mentioned, I think the business matchmakers are enough of a reason, but on supplier.io, you can also be found by over 1,000 buying organizations worldwide. They've really expanded. There are a couple of different organizations merged a few years ago, and it is one of the premier, if not the premier, small supplier discovery and certified supplier discovery portals that is used by large buying organizations, both in the US and abroad. And you're also able to do some research and network with other small and diverse businesses in Connecticut at our events, and you can get some information on that through supplier.io as well. And importantly, benefit from workshops like this. We also send a newsletter out a few times a year, and we'll also invite those who've signed up with us to events by other organizations if there are things that are in alignment with the mission and are going to be of a benefit to those who have registered. We can advance to the next slide. So, to be eligible, it's pretty straightforward. If you're a small business, it's SBA definition of small, which varies a little bit by industry. Depending on industry, it could be at $10, $20, or $50 million or under in revenue. Again, most industries, it's under 500 people in your total workforce. You have to be a for-profit company that's registered in the United States. And suppliers with diversity certifications are eligible to join regardless of the size of the business. Also, it's important to sell a good or a service that's listed as an accepted commodity. And there's two parts to that. One, it has to be legal on the federal level, what you're doing. That's pretty straightforward. And the other thing, this is more subtle, and I'll talk about it more later, is from a practical point of view, not just an accepted as a member point of view, you should be selling things that the buyers that we're working with or the buyers that are leveraging supplier.io are looking for to be able to really benefit. Go on to the next slide, please. And this is where you would go to register. It's pretty straightforward. One of the few URLs that's easy to remember, ct.supplier1.co. It's very important. It's .co, not .com. And if you go there, you'll see a screen similar to the one right below, and where it says begin your registration. The first thing you'll do is type in the name of your company and find my company. You don't be surprised if they do have you in there, even if you haven't registered already. They might have publicly available information that they've started to populate in the database, and then you would fill in the rest. There's a lot of opportunity to add documents to this, to add, of course, your capability statement, brochures, etc. So you really plan to spend a little bit of time. There's also, where it says view training, there are a series of videos on how to make the most of your profile and also general marketing to large buying organizations, what they're looking for. That link was broken the other day. I've contacted supplier.io. So if you do go there and try to take a look, be a little bit patient and come back in a couple of days if you haven't registered. By the way, you do not need to be registered on the supplier.io platform with us as Connecticut Supplier Connection to participate in the upcoming business matchmaker. Those are two separate registrations. Sometimes it gets confusing. People think I've registered for one, shouldn't I be on the other one? I heard the word register, and they kind of confuse that a little bit. Now, again, developing a good profile and developing your capability statement is a great opportunity to work with your Connecticut APEX counselor. And if you're thinking about capacity planning, and I won't go into a lot of detail on that today, but the Connecticut SBDC has been focusing a lot on helping small businesses with capacity planning and developing a capacity statement. If you think about it, a capability statement says what you do. A capacity statement is going to say how you deliver it and give the buying organization confidence that you have the ability to deliver at the scale, on spec, on time, and on budget with the contracts that you're signing. And if you do need assistance with the registration, supplier.io is there with support as well. And you have the Connecticut Supplier Connection at gmail.com email address. That's a great way to just get in touch with me anytime. If you have any questions, if you want to know more about this before registering, please feel free to send me an email anytime. I mentioned already on the next slide, we list the two major events per year. Both are virtual, important to note, and both feature a business matchmaker, as I mentioned, a keynote address from some senior industry procurement professionals, updates on the state resources and programs usually, and then we'll have some panel discussions on most of them. This year, we're going to have Kriti Patel, the state of Connecticut's Chief Manufacturing Officer, join us to say a few words and take some questions. We'll have a panel of supplier success stories, 4 or 5 small businesses that have been successful in contracting with large buyer organizations, to talk about what they did and how they did it. And we'll also have Ishrat join from APEX Accelerator, as well as Tanisha Baptiste-Bynum from the SBA, to talk about certifications, what they are, if you aren't familiar, why to get them, how to get them, and how APEX can help you to get those. So as we mentioned, the 6th annual Direct Supplier Summit is going to be June 2nd and 3rd. It's for suppliers of direct materials and services. What does that mean? We've loosened this definition up a little bit to be more inclusive, in part to address the needs of the small businesses and suppliers in Connecticut, also to address the needs of the buying organizations that want to participate. The great news is a lot of buying organizations do want to participate, including, say, University of Connecticut, who's participating. And you might think, well, UConn's not manufacturing, so what's a direct material that UConn might use? It's not like they're going to be buying stamped metal products or springs or printed circuit boards, in all likelihood, to manufacture something that they sell. However, any finished goods, any things that wholesalers would be selling to the university, and I'm using them as an example. Stanford Health is another example where it may not be only things they're using, like gloves, which you could absolutely be a seller of, or other material and equipment they use at the hospital, where they're the final user, as opposed to then continuing to manufacture a final product. So just wanted to think about those in those terms. We've also had Whiting Turner Construction join us. So we've invited construction and trades for the first time to participate, and also supply chain logistics support, trucking, warehousing, and related industries all are invited in the Direct Supplier Summit. In the fall, in November, date is to be announced soon, just finalizing that, we will have the Growth Summit. That's our larger event, and that's open to everybody. Suppliers of direct materials, indirect materials, that's everything from janitorial supplies and landscaping to still the direct suppliers and directors of tech suppliers of tech services and marketing services, etc. all participate then. On the next slide, just show you a little bit about where to go. So if you haven't registered already, we'll keep this slide up for a couple of seconds. You can copy down the bit.ly, the short URL there. That'll get you right to the registration page. Before the end of this, we'll also share a QR code that will take you to the registration page. I already kind of preempted my own slide by telling you about our program for the keynote session, but in case you wanted to jot down any of the folks who are going to be joining there, those are the ones that I mentioned already. Importantly, following the keynote session on the 2nd of June is when the MatchMaker meeting starts. Starting at noon, about 15 minutes after we finish that session, those 15-minute meetings with the suppliers start. We'll be doing a demo in a little while about how to register and also how to request meetings with suppliers. And then those meetings will continue through the day on June 2nd until 6 p.m. and then start up again June 3rd, 8 a.m. To 5 p.m. Not all buyers are available at all times. They should be blocking out their calendars so that they're only available for you to make meeting requests with them when, in fact, they are available. So you might not see one buyer might be available only one day or the other, for instance. Speaking of the buyers, on the next page, I'll share with you the logos and tell you a little bit about some of the buyers that are joining us on the next slide. And we've got Command Holdings, a Pequot company, joining us for the first time. General Dynamics Electric Boat, who has been a long-time supporter of this event. Eversource will be joining us. L3 Harris, GKN Aerospace, Lumen. I mentioned University of Connecticut already. The State of Connecticut, Synchrony Financial, Whiting Turner Construction, as I mentioned, Stanford Health, Sikorsky, Lockheed Martin, and Pitney Bowes will all be joining. It's possible that another company or two that have said they're going to join but haven't registered yet will join, but these are the ones to really focus on. And the good news is some of these are having more than one buyer join, so that should mean more slots and potentially more specialties that they'll be looking at. If we can advance to the next slide, just want to thank our co-hosts. And as again, I mentioned, chief among them, really APEX Accelerator and Connecticut Small Business Development Center. And I don't want to leave out SBA. SBA has also been a great supporter of this and, of course, of the small business community. They had, some of you may have participated in the recent business matchmaker that they had in person in Hartford. So they're also very big supporters of small and diverse suppliers in the state and, of course, of this event. Now, next, I'm going to spend a little bit of time just talking kind of about best practices, how to prepare. This isn't the technical step-by-step that we'll go through in the live demo, but this is more kind of best practices and advice. And a lot of this advice comes straight from the buying organizations that have been participating. In fact, on the website for the event, there's a page with tips, and those have all come from some of the buyers of these larger organizations that have participated. So the first thing, when you register, you have an opportunity to set up a profile. Please avoid the temptation to get through it quickly and minimally so that you're done, but create a thorough profile. The more specific and distinctive you are about your company and the more you can differentiate what you do, the more likely it is that a buyer, when they're looking at your meeting request, will say, well, that is an interesting company, as opposed to, you're one of many. Why should I think of you, consider you when I have an incumbent in place? So definitely, you'll have an opportunity to upload your capability statement, for instance, but you can also pull some key points out of that, bullet points that you can add to in a text field. And that's going to be really important to make sure that you stand out. When you request the MatchMaker meetings, and the MatchMaker platform is open to meeting requests now. In fact, we just increased it from a maximum of 3 meetings per supplier to 5 meetings per buyer starting this morning. We always try to start it smaller so that a few early birds don't, kind of gobble up all the available meetings. But there are enough meeting slots available so that we've expanded it to 5 per supplier. And if there are buyers that make sense, please do take advantage of that. Now, what you want to do, of course, is make requests for the buyers that buy what you sell. That's kind of the minimum, right? To have a good opportunity. So, do a little homework on them, do some research, make sure that what you're selling is something that they are interested in. Another tip here is if you take a look at who the buyer is, who the individual is, there's a bit of a difference if it is a SBLO, a small business liaison officer, or someone who's with their small supplier discovery, what might have been called supplier diversity program in the past, because they may be open to all commodities. They may be interested in seeing anybody, and they're kind of the initial screen. There might also be commodity category managers in there, or buyers who only focus on certain categories. So if someone has in there that they're only buying printed circuit boards and wiring harnesses, and you're selling something that doesn't fit that description, that might not be the best buyer to request a meeting from. It's a good likelihood they'll decline the meeting. That will open up a spot for you to request a meeting with someone else, by the way. So in the whole process, if you request a meeting and it is declined, you should be able to go back in and request another meeting up to the maximum of 5. And again, take a look at that tips page on the website. Next, continuing with that theme of knowing the buyers. Oh, can we go back to the prior slide? I'm sorry. Of knowing the buyers, getting to know them. Not just, do they buy what you sell, but this is advice that they've all given. Don't try to force a square peg into a round hole. They really are not. I mean, some may be kind and helpful and teach you a little bit, but that's not why they're there. Check the profile on the event website. They are also setting up profiles, and right in that profile, they should be listing out the commodities that they're interested in. And importantly, they may list specific areas that they are not interested in. It may be that they have long-term agreements or that they have master agreements, and they don't typically bid those out. And those don't come up for an opportunity with new suppliers. In addition, prepare, right? Prepare your pitch. This is not just having your capability statement ready and reading it to them. Yeah, have it ready, but be ready with that, it may sound cliche, but with that elevator pitch. Again, this is a 15-minute meeting max. That's assuming that, everybody gets on time. I would suggest the first thing you do, exchange contact information. We won't give out the buyer's contact information without their permission. It is a absolute best practice for you to try to give them yours, of course, and get their contact information so that you can follow up afterwards. I'll talk more about that in a second. But be clear and concise and lead again with that unique value proposition. What is it that makes you more attractive than taking the safe route of staying with their incumbent? You have to be able to articulate that. And you also should remember, getting to follow up now, one, listen to the feedback they're giving you in the meeting, and follow up. The phrase that I've heard before and I love is be persistent but polite. And that might be a little bit different for each person and each individual, but you can ask outright, how frequently should I reach out to you? My suggestion is, don't just say, hey, remember me? We met at the MatchMaker event. Our business is still here when you need us, but instead provide value. Send them an email with an update about the growth of your company, about a new client that you may have signed on. Because again, businesses feel that it's less risky, of course, if you're already doing business with companies like theirs. So even if it's not as large as theirs, if you can show that you're scaling up over time, you're doing work with larger businesses or other government agencies, if you're talking to a government agency, then you should be able to get a little bit more credibility with them. Also, share valuable information, even if you don't have a great update about your company, but you've come across a white paper or an article that you think is interesting. Maybe they've read it, maybe they don't care, but it shows that you're trying to provide value. That's part of your value proposition, right? You're proactive, you're listening, you're trying to help. That's your whole purpose, is to be there to to help them as a supplier to their company. Okay, and by the way, you can also tailor your capability statement. I'm sure your Apex counselor has told you about this. You can tailor your capability statement to different industries if you serve multiple industries, knowing what they might look for, or individual buyers if you know what they're looking for. Okay, we can move forward. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we're going to take a little bit of break from this. We'll keep the slide up for just a moment. Again, in case you haven't registered, you can scan that QR code now, and that should take you to our registration page. And now, in a moment, I am going to share my screen, and I'm going to walk right through registration. I'm going to actually register, a fake company, and then we'll go through, what you're going to get in return, and go from there. So if you give me a minute, I will share my screen.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can go right to the
Thank you very much. Perfect timing. Here we go. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen, and I'm going to start by going to the registration page.
Yep.
I am a supplier. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great, thank you. So if I'm a supplier, I'm going to select a supplier ticket. If you are going as a supplier, you do not also need to get a general admission ticket. That's really more for anybody who is not interested in meetings. So as a supplier, you get to go to anything that a general admission ticket gets to go to, plus you get to request meetings. So you don't need to order both, just one free supplier ticket. So if I order now, that's going to open up the opportunity that I have to add a profile. Now, if you have an existing profile, you might have an opportunity to copy it, or if you're adding more than one person. But let's assume not. So right away, I'm going to go and enter my name. And I'm sorry, this might take a minute. I won't put in a lot of detail where you should. And I'm picking an email address that I have not used with EventDex before. Otherwise, it's going to default to my other profile, which may make it difficult for us to walk through everything. And I'm just going to say this is test company 1. And I'm the tester. Obviously, you'll put your own information. I don't want anyone to look at this and think that this is a real company. And I will put in a real phone number just in case they install something that has to send me a code. Capability statement. I don't have a capability statement for my fake company. I'm just going to upload a PDF to satisfy that. But please do upload your capability statement here. That's really important. Primary business category. You'd have the opportunity to enter one that's accurate. I'm going to just put management of companies and enterprises for me. And my URL, I'm going to, again, just make something up here. Don't believe they check to make sure that that's accurate. Company overview. This is, again, where it's important. You've already uploaded your capability statement, but here, add a few bullet points. What are the 2 or 3 things that you really want them to know when you make a request and they quickly open your profile, because it's one click away for them to see what do you do. So again, I'll leave that to you to decide what you want, but I'm just going to say test, and move on. Products, keywords, and services. Again, here you have an opportunity to talk more about. So here you can tell about your company, a couple of things that you think are going to be catching their attention. Here, what about your products and services? What are the keywords? So put down the things that someone might search for if they were looking for your company. I'm going to stick with my tried and true test. If you have a DBA, you have an opportunity to enter it here. And if you are limited to a particular geographic region, if you only work in the Northeast region overall, if you only work in one of the counties in Connecticut, you can select that. If you select nothing, that's going to mean that you're not limited geographically. NAICS codes. again, you should know your primary NAICS code. You can add more than one if you are operating in more than one. I'll stay consistent with what I had before. Management, diversity type. I'm not going to select one, but here you could see, if you can see this pull down menu, you could see many diversity certification types that you can select there. And now commodities. Again, you have an opportunity, in addition to the text that you've added above, which is freeform, to pull from what EventDex has found, or these are standard terms that people use when looking for these. So I'm going to put in management again. I could put in management consulting and management services, just to show that you can add more than one. So add all of the commodities that are relevant. And sure, I'm already registered with Connecticut Supplier Connection. If you check no there, that's fine. That's an opportunity to go and do that later. That just means if I can run a report later, I'll probably send you a link. So I'm going to say yes so that I don't send myself a link. Complete registration. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to receive an email, and I'll go right to that email address, and it's going to take a moment. And we'll see it in a second. While that is being sent to me, I've got to do something in the background, actually, to send myself. Because what I do is I go into the EventX platform. You're getting a little bit behind the scenes here. And then I am going to send an email template to all people who register new. So that may be every day or every other day. So if you register, but you can't figure out immediately how to make a meeting, check back. This is important now. I'm glad I'm showing you this because I'm picking my record. I just registered, and I'm going to send an email to myself, which is, of course, what I do for you if you're new, newly registered for the event. And it's just taking a second. But what's important is you need to look for an email from support@eventdex.com. It doesn't come from Connecticut Supplier Connection. It is me doing it, but I'm on the platform. So I will send that to you from support@eventdex.com. So the one that I have selected has instructions for how to complete, ensure you have a complete profile, and where to go to register. And I'll show you that email momentarily. So first, here's my order confirmation. You're going to get an email that looks like this. That is just saying that you've registered. You can confirm that you've registered as a supplier, and it has some key dates just to remind you of when the event begins. And it also has email contact that I showed you before. That will reach me, ctsupplierconnection@gmail.com, and support@eventdex.com in case you need to reach out for any technical assistance. Good policy is email both of these email addresses for anything, because if I see it first, I'll prompt them. If they see it first, they'll take care of it if it's technical. Now, this is the email that I sent to myself. And I'm going to trust myself as a sender so I can see all the everything here. And this has some instructions. Please log into the platform to update my profile and request one-on-one meetings. I'll be updating this today, as I mentioned, because we now can request 5 meetings per person. And I'm not going to read all the text to you, but you'll scroll down and you'll get to the instructions. Go to match.eventdex.com and then log in. This is important, using the registered email address that you see right here, and you'll have an opportunity to create a password if you don't have one already. If you have already registered with EventDex, then you'll already have it. I guess I did use this to register with EventDex before because it didn't ask me for a new password. So once you do open that up, it'll bring you here. This is your dashboard, and it is from your dashboard that you can do pretty much anything you need from this point on. Say you realize, oh, I didn't do a great job on my profile. I really, maybe you've already registered, for instance, and you've thought during this conversation that we're having, I'd like to add some things. I'd like to add some more information. This may be a little small. I'll try to make it bigger. So you've got a tab here for basic information, pretty much your contact information. Work information. Well, what does your company do? Oh, there wasn't a spot on the before to add the number of employees. I can add the number of employees now. I can add what my revenue range is. And if I have a DBA and I forgot to put it in before, I can put it in. I have another opportunity for geographic region. So here you have more detail. They've improved this from previous years. So if you haven't used this function before, it's a great opportunity to go right in and add additional information you didn't have the opportunity to add when you first got your ticket. Commodity information. See, it shows me my test. If I say, you know what, I want to tell them some more about this, I can do that. I can copy and paste from another document and put it in here too. Same thing about your products and services keywords. You can go here to add to it, change it, edit it. So you have an opportunity after your registration to come back and take care of a lot of this. Same thing with the NAICS codes. I don't know how soybean farming got in there. Say I wanted to take that out and go back to management, right? Manage, if I could spell. Here, I'm just going to say other management consulting services. Say I am not a soybean farmer. So I'll correct that right there. It's that easy. Diversity type, again, I didn't select one. I could say I'm just, and I'm going to put in small. I am a small business enterprise. So, and I say I'm certified. Then social information. You have an opportunity to add Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter IDs to this as well. If you post for your business, especially if it's your business profile, that's a good opportunity. Registration questions. We've already talked about that. Are you already registered? So now I'm happy with my profile. I'm going back to up on my dashboard, and I'm going to take a look. First thing I'm going to think about before I even go to make requests with buyers is my schedule. I want to manage my schedule. Are there time slots that I absolutely can't make it? Say, and here you have to change the date from June 2nd to June 3rd when you change days. So say I have a meeting with my full staff first thing in the morning on Wednesday. I'm going to block the first hour of that day. It's very easy to do. You just click the down arrow and click block. And then if your meeting's canceled, you can go right back and unblock it. Why is this important? You're thinking, I make the appointment requests. The buyers don't. There are some buyers who may take an interest and may take a look and request a meeting with you. Doesn't happen all the time, but we do sometimes get questions from buyers whether they can make those requests as well. If you leave everything open, that just means you're saying I'm available anytime from noon on Tuesday through 6 on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I'm available anytime from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Right? So that's fine. You're not required to fill anything out here if you intend to keep yourself available. Now, let's talk about the buyers. So this is where I have an opportunity to go in and make some meeting requests. So I'm going to pick someone here, say Martha Crawford, who I know well, with Sikorsky, and I'm interested in booking an appointment with Martha. I'm going to simply click the book appointment, and I'm going to see which appointments are available. If it's in green, it's available. And you can just click on that. Do you want to book an appointment? You can add a note if you'd like, saying that you're looking forward to meeting with her, or that we're the perfect fit for Sikorsky because, and then click book. You see, it's giving me an update. I have 5 appointment requests remaining, so she would be my first. I'm going to X out of this rather than make that appointment because I don't want to take up a slot. I think that's relatively straightforward. Now, the process after that, I'll make one appointment with Shelly's. Shelly's not really taking appointments. She's helping to manage the other Department of Administrative Services. Here, I've got another profile of mine in here. I blocked everything. I was going to say just so that I could look at my appointments, because what you can do next after you request appointments with buyers, you'll see which meetings that you've requested when you go to My Appointments and which ones have been accepted, pending, or canceled. So if I had any all meetings that I requested would show up here. Any that are accepted, I can check the tab. If any are still pending, they're here. And then if anyone's canceled one, and that does happen, it would be here. Another thing that's good to do from this page is a test call. What you're doing here is you're testing your connectivity for when you make your call, when you have your meeting with the buyer. So once again, you go right back to your dashboard and you're ready to join your meeting. You can be, click on that meeting and, well, I'm doing a test call, but if you would click on that meeting and you can click join now, and you would be joining the meeting with that buyer. All right. So it looks like I connected. It may not be the best resolution, but it's working. I think they can hear me. And I would even have the opportunity to do a screen share, by the way. It says right down here, so you can share documents or pictures or anything, of your plan, anything that you'd like, you can share during the meeting too. I'm going to disconnect from that. I'm going to leave the meeting so that I am no longer part of that. You've also got the opportunity, if you wanted to print or export your meeting list. It's only 5. You can manage everything from the dashboard. If you're, prefer to have something in a Excel spreadsheet or on a printout, you can do that from here as well. I think that is taking care of pretty much everything that I wanted to show you. So I'm going to stop sharing, hopefully. Back to Zoom. And
well, thank you, Stephen, for all that wealth of information. This is very, very valuable. And, for all suppliers who are interested in becoming, a subcontractor to primes, it's so important to meet one-on-one with buyers. And having that opportunity is not a really, an easy job to connect with buyers directly, and this platform it's giving you this opportunity to meet one-on-one with buyers. That's it takes so much effort to be visible in front of in front of the SBLO for the prime contractor, and this virtual matchmaker is giving you that opportunity, and I highly recommend that all of the suppliers should take full advantage of this. And this platform is such a easy way to connect. And what I want to say, Stephen, is that it's for me the takeaway is that the distinction that registering in the Supplier Connect is not the same as registering for the virtual event. That's right. A good thing to understand. Use this webinar or use this training, because the training is recorded. Use this as a tutorial when you are actually doing the registration to help you guide through completing your profile, because this recording will be available at the CT APEX YouTube channel after the sessions. So I would, this is a good way to really making sure you revise all the process. And Stephen has given us this the walk through the process of this application. So that's a great thing. Another takeaway is that each supplier can do 2 to 3 meetings. That's wonderful.
Actually, up to 5 now.
Up to 5. I'm sorry. Yep. I meant to say up to 5. You said 3 to 5 meetings. So that's wonderful. The other thing I want to say is that CT APEX, we helped you to get ready for these kind of matchmakers, this kind of event, whether it is virtual or in person. We help you to prepare your capability statement. We help you to prepare your tailored capability statement. We help you to navigate through these platform to see who the buyer is, help you to learn and educate yourself about your buyers that you are interested in, that matches your commodity, and all the steps that Stephen showed, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, getting ready for with the capability statement, having your pitch ready, and follow up. All of that, we at APEX Connecticut, all your primary counselors will help you to get yourself ready with that. With that, these are some of the assistants. Stephen, you want to say something about all of your all of the resources?
Absolutely, thank you. Yeah, as I mentioned, once again, I'm glad that we're on this slide, so you can see, Connecticut's CT Supplier Connection at gmail.com. Any questions about the event, any issues that pop up, you can reach out to me. As soon as I see that email, I'll address it. And again, if you can send it to support@eventdex.com, if it's anything technical, they might jump on it before I see it. Quite frankly, they're monitoring their tickets as they come in more than I'm monitoring my email. So if it's technical, please include them. But if it's just about whether this is a fit for you, whether my commodity is right for a direct supplier summit, you have trouble even finding the right website to register, please don't hesitate to send me an email there. And also go to ct.supplier1.co to register on the database for Supplier Connection. That's the best way to think about it, so that we can keep you informed. For instance, I'm going to send out a reminder to folks who have not registered yet, and I'm going to include the link to the Apex YouTube channel so that they could see this as an extra help. And I'll probably do that as soon as that's live. I'll put together a brief email, send it from Constant Contact to everyone who's listed there. So if you're listed already, you would receive that from me. I'll let you talk a little bit more about Apex Accelerator. Again, as I mentioned, definitely your premier assistance provider when in all things procurement. Just a quick mention, this is going back to our tips. As Ishrat mentioned a minute ago, this isn't an easy process and it's not a fast process. Buyers will tell you, sometimes suppliers come in with an expectation. I have a one-on-one meeting. Where's my contract? Don't I get a contract now? I met with you. Most people realize it doesn't work that way. And it takes, quite frankly, usually years. I could say months to years. There could be opportunities where it's months because you could just be in the right place at the right time. But a lot of the time, it's before you can be in the right place at the right time, you have to develop the relationship, develop the confidence they have in you. Then when the right opportunity comes up and you're in the right place at the right time, you're also known and you're the right fit and they know it. So they're more predisposed to contacting you and then trying to take the next step. So be patient. And as I mentioned earlier, Connecticut Small Business Development Center helps with the full range in the business life cycle. Apex and SBDC refer clients back and forth for different areas. So for instance, I mentioned capacity planning. If you wanted a financial assessment, you wanted to do an analysis of your business, what's the financial health of my business? How much business could I take on if I have certain assumptions like I'm going to need to buy inventory in advance, I'm going to need to spend on manufacturing, then I'm going to need to sell and I'm going to have payment terms. How much time do I need before I'm going to collect money? How much time will it be before I collect money? And how much money do I need to be able to pay for my inventory, pay for my my staff, my other overhead, and then fund those receivables? And that's what one of the things that SBDC can help you with. And then if you needed a line of credit, for instance, we can help you apply for that line of credit and find the right lender for you if you don't already have one in place who can help you, who's well positioned and interested in doing a line of credit with small businesses. And Ishrat, tell us more about how about Apex's assistance in this area.
So, the Connecticut Apex or Apex service and the SBDC service complement each other. The SBDC really helps the business startups, business understand the process of managing a business, growing a business, all things related to the operations of the business. But CT APEX or APEX Accelerator program helps businesses navigate through the government contracting process and all things federal government contracting. We help with preparing for a proposal. We help with getting them ready to market themselves, how to make themselves attractive to a buyer, how to find the right agency that would be a good fit for their product and service. A whole host of topics all things related to government contracting. And so in that sense, we complement SBDC and Connecticut Apex, we complement each other. So I would highly recommend any suppliers be a client to both and take advantage of all of our services. The other thing I want to mention is that capability statement is really important. And what Stephen mentioned about when you meet the buyer first, first ask for their contact and share your capability statement. And at CT APEX, we can help you to create a digital capability statement. What that does is that it helps you to create a QR code of your capability statement. So when you're meeting the buyer virtually, you can share that QR code, so the buyer will have access to your capability statement at all time. And we found from prime buyers that they like to have electronic copy of your capability statements. So with that, let's see, we can move on to the Q&A sections.
Sure.
And I'm seeing some questions. Are you seeing any questions? Are you able to see the questions?
Yes, I can see them. I can try to field some of these.
Okay.
First one says, hi, I've logged into Supplier One and registered my company. Thank you. Great. That means I can reach out to you because I've got your contact information and your implied permission to reach out to you. Does the tool have any meaningful features on the free plan? I'll tell you the truth. The account that I have is as if, even though we're a program of the government, we're not a buyer, we have a buyer membership. So I know it from that side. I'll be completely honest that I do not know from the supplier side what the features are. What I can do is at some point I can try to register a company and take a look at it, or we can also just try to take a look at the plans that they offer. The other thing that I mentioned, they do have a support, and you can ask the same question of support if you'd like. But if you're an anonymous attendee, if you want to take the email address, Ishrat, maybe you can just go up to that previous slide again, CT Supplier Connection at gmail.com, and send this question to me so that I can reply to you directly with your email address. We can try to take a look at it. I could try to connect with someone at Supplier.io rather than try to guess or try to hunt ourselves only on that. And Thea, thanks for joining us today. Her question is that when she tried to register at ctsupplier.co, it pulled in the wrong company because you've got more than one company and it won't let you change the data. Thea, why don't we, two things. One, obviously you can contact the support, but if you'd like, you and I can try to do a screen share. I got your contact information. So I can send you an email, or you can send one to me, and we could try to set up a time and see if we can troubleshoot that. It may be backing out all the way to the beginning. And I think virtually everything is going to be keyed off of email addresses, but I could be wrong about that. So maybe there's a way to change the information initially entered there. And the next question is, I am wondering if Apex sent more info about this summit, MatchMaker, or Stephen, where can I find all the information about this opportunity, please? Went to ctsupplier1.co, doesn't have it on the homepage. No, I can share in the chat here. I will share the website for the event, and we've been sending out flyers about the event, but if you weren't on a list that I had, that I wasn't sending the flyer to you. I posted it to social media too, but we can try to make sure that we get that to you, and at the very least, as soon as
I want to address that. As I mentioned in the beginning of the presentations, that the CT APEX will send out the presentation for today's, and and access to the recording to all attendees who are present in this session today. So you will receive an email from CT APEX with today's presentation and the recording.
Great. And I'll take another second. I'll try again to grab the link to wherever I went for that registration. That's going to take us right to, I just have to open that tab again. Here we go. And now I'll pop back into. And
while you do that, I want to mention that this slide actually has the link to the registration for the summit. And also, if you are new to Connecticut APEX, you can register for our service and become a client at no cost. All of our services are at no cost, and we are really here to help you. You will be assigned a counselor, and the counselor can help you navigate through this registration for the for this matchmaker and all things government contracting.
Excellent. And I did just put the link in that it lands on the registration tab, but on that same website, you've got the about page, so you can learn more about Supplier Connection. You've got the agenda for the day. You've got the buyers that are participating, the partners who are joining, the tips page that I mentioned to you, and the speakers, although I'm waiting on a bunch of bios and headshots, but the speakers are all listed there at least.
And again, this is our team and the Connecticut APEX Accelerator. Please, if you have any further questions, reach out to your primary counselors. We'll be glad to help you be successful and meet the buyers that you need to buy to meet with, and don't miss this opportunity. Follow the CT APEX on social media, including our Facebook and LinkedIn. Also, don't forget to visit the CT APEX calendar page for all our upcoming events. And we look forward to seeing you at our next feature events, and at the Connecticut Matchmaker.
And if you join us at the keynote session, you'll see me and Ishrat again on Tuesday, June 2nd. So we look forward to seeing you there.
We'll look forward to seeing you again. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.